Hello everyone, Neil back once again with another film review for you. And I just never know when I'm actually going to review a film. I keep thinking I'm done, just like Miyazaki himself. I keep thinking I'm retired, but but I just keep getting pulled back in because brilliant movies like this come along, and I got the chance to see The Boy and the Heron in the theater, and it is directed by Hayao Miyazaki in what is supposedly his final film. And if it is, well, it's a hell of a way to go out. And it's also written by Miyazaki as well, from the famous Studio Ghibli. And no spoilers here, not really, but I'm going to describe the plot a little bit, so just get ready for that. I mean, there is a lot to this incredibly rewarding emotional journey, but I won't talk about everything. I'm not going to certainly spoil the ending or any reveals or anything like that. So we'll just get the ball rolling on the plot here for you. Oh yes, and I did see the original Japanese version with subtitles, so I gotta say that I didn't experience the English dub. The English American dub is usually quite good in these Studio Ghibli movies, but I can't speak to the American cast and how the actors were in the film, like Robert Pattinson, Christian Bale, and Mark Hamill, and Willem Dafoe, and so on. Very impressive cast. But I will definitely see that version. I hear Pattinson is great as the Heron, so be looking forward to seeing that version. So to each his own. You want to see that one, or you want to see the original subtitles, up to you. I'm sure it's a rewarding experience regardless. Yeah. This has got to be one of the greatest achievements in the history of animated features. It's easily the best movie I've ever seen about dealing with loss and malice and grief, and really how to cathartically move on from that. It teaches kids about how to deal with their extreme emotions in terms of when something really bad happens, when a tragedy happens in your family, or any of the, whatever the case may be. The studio has just completely outdone themselves here with their emotional impact, and the film is right up there with Spirited Away or Princess Mononoke. I would imagine this film is going to win a whole lot of awards pretty soon. It's already nominated for the Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature, and it will probably get the Oscar nomination as well. I'd be shocked if it didn't. Okay, so the story is set during the 40s wartime in Japan at the start, and a young boy, Mahito, he loses his mother in a fire, and he feels guilt and rage for not saving her. He's unwilling to move past her death, and he hates his new school and his new life. He finds out that his aunt, who is now his stepmom, as his father has married his mother's sister, her name is Natsuko, and she's expecting a baby too, which doesn't thrill Mahito very much. Meanwhile, there's this weird gray heron that comes to his window and starts talking to him, starts squawking at him. And it's got kind of a funny voice, but you could tell this is more than just, your typical heron here. He tells Mahito to follow him to his mother. He's like, I'll take you to your mother. And Mahito figures this has got to be a trap or a dream or both, but, follows anyway, because he just has to know, if his mother is truly still out there. The gray heron, who is obviously much more than he appears, leads Mahito to this tower sealed after the architect, who is Natsuko's eccentric granduncle, had disappeared within many years before. So it's a very mysterious, magical, mystical little tower here. And he and a housemaid named Kiriko are transported to this other reality on this island full of these hungry pelicans and big parakeets, and he is rescued by a young Kiriko. The older Kiriko had disappeared, and she tells him that this is essentially the land of the dead, and Mahito has to just kind of deal with that and realize this is kind of like a purgatory that I'm in right now, Mahito, he also encounters the mysterious and powerful Lady Hime in this land. She's this pyrokinetic kind of character, and I won't say too much more, but Mahito does continue his search for his mother and for answers. It does resolve itself very well by the end, let's just say. I won't say any more about, the details, but this film really should be experienced for yourself. It's really a movie to be felt. The final scene actually seems a bit abrupt, but it's also appropriate for the story. The animation here is, of course, breathtaking, as we have come to expect from this studio, but there are some truly wondrous shots in this film. There's a shot of this cabinet in Kiriko's place where there's these plates that are just standing up, and I couldn't stop staring at these plates. The plates! I know, they were so realistic looking, and also whenever a character is, has the wind flowing against them, and their hair and their outfits are flowing around and stuff, and that's when the animation is at its most magical and just wonderful speed and pace to this 2D animation style, which Studio Ghibli has long since perfected. Visually, every Studio Ghibli movie is outstanding and just completely unforgettable. But it's really the story, the writing, the situations, the metaphors here that really make it all pay off really, really well. The film is heavily metaphorical, with Miyazaki writing what I believe to be, the granduncle character is kind of modeled after himself. Although you could also say he's young Mahito, drawing on his own childhood experiences as well. But it just seems very personal, somewhat autobiographical in a way, of Miyazaki's life. So, you don't watch a movie like this as much as you feel it. The only other movie I could think of that came out this year, another animated film, a 3D animated film, was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That's the only other film I saw that literally painted emotions literally on the screen with like paint dripping down the walls to show how sad characters are. Things like that. That kind of imagery, that kind of symbolism is absolutely brilliant and fantastic. And that's true art. That is true art on film, in my opinion. And this whole film has those moments in spades. The Boy and the Heron, it hits all the emotional points throughout the film. So, if this is to be Miyazaki's swan song, then he couldn't have asked for a better final film. Honestly, I think it's as good as any movie that Studio Ghibli's ever put out, and it's as good as any animated movie to come out probably in the last 10 years. Right up there with those Spider-Verse films. It's just the highest quality of filmmaking for animation. So, I am going to give The Boy and the Heron a 10 out of 10. Yes, this is a masterpiece. It's not going to be for everyone at first. It's kind of complex. You really got to get into it and get into the symbolism of it all. The lesson of catharsis, dealing with grief and getting past it. That's so well translated here to film. So, yeah, it doesn't get any better than this, guys. That's why I had to review this movie. I almost never review movies anymore, It's like, who cares, right? But but I had to review this one. It is a must-see, whether you want the dubbed English version. If you're allergic to subtitles, fine, go see the dubbed version. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. All right, guys, that's it for me and this quick film review. And until next time, peace.